Yep, what's going on YouTube? It's the flyest vlogger on the planet. My name is Showtime the Czar. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's having a great, positive, productive day. Got a lot to talk about involving the culture, hip hop, anything going on. So we're gonna jump right into it. Before we do any and all of that, you know what you gotta do. See that subscribe button on your screen right there. I need you to click that. Turn that bell icon on so each and every time one of my videos drop the content that I'm providing to you, you don't miss it. Let's get into it. Drop my intro. Alright y'all, so the first thing I want to discuss with you guys today is the situation between the baby and Danny Lay's brother. I think his name is Brandon Bills. As you can see on your screen, they got into an altercation at the bowling alley. A lot of people are saying the baby's whack because he jumped him and his team. They jumped Danny Lay's brother. According to Brandon Bills, his intention was to have a conversation with the baby and it got out of hand, etc., etc. Let's unpack this for a minute, y'all. Let's unpack this, okay? First of all, the baby and Danny Lay were in a relationship, or to him they weren't, but tomato, tomato, I guess, you know, whatever. That's not the important part. They have a child together. They, I guess, didn't end on the best of terms, whatever their situation was, relationship. The baby got on internet, said some foul things about Danny Lay, which I didn't approve of. And then her brother got involved. He said some things about the baby on the internet, which understandably, right? Talking about his sister, embarrassing his sister. I understand why you'd be mad about that and ready to fight. I would assume if you got a close relationship with your sister, anybody would defend their sister if somebody is talking about them, right? Here's where it gets tricky. So apparently a lot of people are saying that Danny Lay's brother said something on site. Meaning, when I see you, you catching these hands. Like, ain't no talking, ain't no kumbaya, we just fighting. That's what that means. If I'm Danny Lay's brother in this situation, and those are my words, that mean I won't smoke. However, it's a time and a place. At this particular time, you are outnumbered. I don't know where the rest of his crew was, or what was the situation, why he was at a bowling alley by himself. I don't know. What I will say is this. A lot of people are saying that the baby is whack for jumping that man. I don't know what was said for it to go to them fighting right there at that moment. Because Brandon Bills is outnumbered. It's 1 on 50. Or at least that's what it looked like. I'm not pressing nobody anywhere if I'm Dolo and I know that this guy, and I'm looking and it's 12, 13, 14 people around him. He said he wanted to have a man-to-man conversation. But on the internet, you said it's on site. Those are two different vibes, bro. On site means when I see you, bro, ain't no talking. We just getting straight to it. But then you get to him, you see him, and now it's let's talk. What we talking about? If I'm the baby, you told me you wanted to fight me when you see me. What we talking about? We about to fight. And then if I see you, I'm already preparing for myself that you about to come over here and fight. So even if you do say let's talk, I'm not going nowhere to talk to you, bro. I'm just going straight in. We about to fight. Here's what I say about this. Another thing I want to say about this, actually. The baby is also the breadwinner for BDB, which means whoever is involved in his label, they eat off him. He can't get hurt because then they stop eating. So if I'm with the baby and I see somebody approach him and I know that they got a problem, yes, you must protect the investment. You have to. So no, I don't blame them for jumping him. Now, do I think that it was cool that they jumped him? I think the baby could have handled it one-on-one. But I also think, like, If the baby break his hand and can't perform, well, then that's money out of my pocket if I'm depending on the baby. You know, if the baby gets injured or killed, again, I'm depending on the baby, so I can't let him get hurt because now I'm out here starving. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I look at it. Also, last point I'm gonna make about this. Somebody said, like I see a lot of women weighing in on it, and y'all like it's a female trait to jump people. Don't know how jumping people became a female trait. Whatever, let that go. We just seen a situation like this, and God Bless the Dead and King Von, where somebody had a gun, and I don't think King Von was by himself. What if Danny Lane's brother had a gun and approached the baby? Y'all would have been saying it was 50 people around the baby, and then none of y'all think to stop him or run up on him and do blah 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 blah. It was a catch-22 for the baby. If he jumps this guy and protects himself, he's weak. But then if guy runs up on him and he got a gun and he shoots him, then it's like he's stupid. They should have protected him, and everybody around him is stupid because they should have protected him. It was a lose-lose situation for him, and I think most of it is because of how he handled that Danny Lay situation and the other corny things that he said in the media, as far as, you know, the whole thing with the gay people and saying those bad things about gay people, or what appeared to be bad things about gay people. That's what I'll say. I think that y'all took that into this situation and not giving him the benefit of the doubt of he was threatened and he protected himself. And the people around him protected him. That's how I feel about it. But let me know what you guys think, how you feel about that whole situation. Brandon Bills, the baby, his crew. How do you feel about all of that, how it took place? Let me know all that in the comments below. Alright, y'all, on to the next story here. So I thought this was crazy when I heard it. So a middle school in Connecticut, they decided to teach a 8th grade class, I believe. I don't know if it was a class or it was a whole group of 8th graders, but they decided to teach them about sex and consent using pizza. And you know, the premise of it was to use the pizza as a metaphor for sex and consent and how to approach the situation, right? Here's what I want to say about that. When it comes to a topic like that, I feel like, especially with the young minds of adolescents, you have to first make sure it's okay with the parents. I don't believe every parent wants some stranger, and not really a stranger, but someone that they don't know outside of being a teacher, to be telling their kids about sex and all that good stuff. I think that needs to start at home first. And if it doesn't start at home, then maybe start small. Maybe start with an after-school program and then let it build into something that most parents and students approve of, because just jumping out the window with talking about sex is dangerous because you don't know. Some kids ain't even ready to have that conversation yet. Some kids in 8th grade, they still on video games and not even thinking about girls or boys' body parts and stuff like that. So I would be disappointed if I was a parent and I asked my kid that's in the 8th grade, that's 13, hey, what you learned about school today? Well, we talking about consent on a pizza. What? So I don't really approve of that. Just starting right there. Next thing I want to talk about is we have to make sure that when we're talking about consent, that's a difficult concept that even some adults don't understand. Like, the premise of it is supposedly they give you their permission, but then there's a lot of layers to what permission looks like. So I understand them wanting to start young so that we can prevent people misconstruing what consent means and what that is. I understand that. I'm not against that. I'm against teaching it to kids that aren't even on that level. And that's why I said let's start with an after school program for a child that feels as though they're mature enough to handle that conversation. Just throwing that out there to a kid that's not even ready to have that conversation is just weird to me. Because again, did the parents approve of this? I don't know. And I also don't know if pizza is the right way to metaphorically talk about consent. You know what I mean? Again, to me, over the last few years, I'll say about 4 or 5, consent has definitely been a tough topic, seeing as how all these celebrities have come out, or stories about celebrities have come out where they've been raping people and they didn't consent, or they didn't know, or blah blah blah. So I feel like even adults have a hard time handling this subject. So to just pile it on kids whose brains might not even be ready for that, that's a little bit too much. All right, so that's all I gotta say about that. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments below. How do you think this school handled this properly? Do you think pizza was the right metaphor? What would you do in this situation? Let me know all that in the comments below. Alright guys, so we're going to wrap things up today talking about a little sports. So obviously the Super Bowl is this weekend. Who you guys going for? Rams or the Cincinnati Bengals? Personally, I'm rooting for the Rams just because from Detroit, and they got Matthew Stafford on there, and it's great to see him flourishing, knowing his talents, knowing what he could do. He just couldn't do it here in Detroit based off of, lack of talent and things of that nature. But I'm glad to see him being able to display his talents on the biggest stage, and I want him to win because I think a lot of people they doubted Matthew Stafford and his abilities, but it was just, he did what he could do with what he was given. So definitely want to see him win. I think Joe Burrow's got a couple more years in him. It's going to be tough for Joe Burrows though, because he's in the AFC and he's going to have to keep going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. But he got to the Super Bowl, so if he can do it once, he can definitely do it 2-3 more times. Or he's capable of doing it. So, just as hard as it's gonna be for Joe Burrow, it's gonna be hard for a Kansas City Chiefs team with Patrick Mahomes to get to another Super Bowl, just because they're gonna have to keep running into each other, I believe. So, but all in all, I think I want the Rams to win. I just like how that team was built. I like that from the beginning of the season. They had something to prove, and Matthew Stafford had something to prove. So that's what I'm rocking with. But switching gears here, going to the little NBA stuff. So trade deadline was yesterday. The biggest news was the James Harden and Ben Simmons trade. James Harden going to Philly, Ben Simmons going to the Nets. Obviously, both of them were in bad situations, and then to change the scenery. Here's what I want to say about that. I don't think we talk about the conversation of can anybody play with James Harden. I feel like every place he's went to, it's not that he's a bad player, it's just tough to play with the guy. Everybody talks about, one of the biggest things they talk about when it comes to basketball and James Harden is ball efficiency. Like, the guy got to have the ball a lot. How does that work with the teams that he's on? It's like, how do you build around James Harden when he has to have the ball? He's shown that he could pass. He's shown that he could be a team player. But also, for him to be effective, he has to have the ball. And I just don't know if teams can play with James Harden or play. I just think it's hard to play with him. It just looks like it is. You know what I'm saying? Not that he's a terrible teammate. It's just that's how he plays ball. And that's gotten him to where he's at. So he can't really change it too much. It's I don't know. But we'll see how it works out with him and Joel Embiid. I seen somebody say on NBA TV the other day that it looked like it's gonna be a take turns kind of deal. Like, you go get your points, I go get mine, and it might work out for a minute. But then, like, I feel like smart coaches gonna figure that out, and they got the smart players too. They just gonna do their best to take that away, if that makes any sense. So I don't know, man. That's just gonna be an interesting situation. Also, I think Kyrie Irving not playing played a lot of it, and James Harden wanting to leave and the contract. Also, with the Ben Simmons situation, it just sounded like he was just tired of being in Philly, and he just didn't have the support in Philly. So I don't know if Brooklyn is a better spot for him. We'll see how all that goes. I'm not 100% sold on that. I don't think neither one of these teams are gonna be in the NBA Finals anytime soon. It's gonna be rough. I don't think Brooklyn got a little bit better though with adding all the pieces. If Kyrie can play, or if they work that situation out with Kyrie, KD, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and Ben Simmons, that's not bad, man. It's not bad. So it's gonna be interesting to watch. A lot of people saying who won, who lost in the trade. I don't think nobody, like, it's kind of like they was at the same level. You know what I'm saying? It's like a B minus maybe, you know. But I don't think one team got excruciating or like super. One team got super better and the other team got horrible. I think they're both still at the same spot they're in. You know what I mean? So, but let me know how you feel about that in the comments below. That's all I got for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And until next time, I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.